Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI, welcome you right back to Let's Play Danganronpa V3, this is episode 29. In the last episode we did all of the investigation and everything for the murders of Angie and Tenko. Today we're going to be kicking off the trial, obviously. Apologies for yet another gap in between the last episode and this episode. I've just come out of a sort of second flu that I've had over throughout Christmas and over New Year's and until now pretty much. It's only today that I'm feeling well enough to really record again. So it was like I had a bit of a backlog really of recordings for before. It would have been even longer. But yeah, if you hear a bit of sniffling it'll be there. But luckily, once again, it's a heavily voice acted part, so I can just shut up and cut out my sniffling. For now though, you'll have to put up with it. We're going to go through the skills that we're going to be using for the trial. We've got quite a few more that we can put in. We've got 20 out of 36 skill slots used. So we could chuck in increase time limit in each phase. Effective doing all parts of class trial, I like that. We got a couple... Oh, we didn't finish off Muse after, did we? I intended to do that before getting into this part. We'll have a quick look through. It's going to be a biggie if it's characters one. I like Lost in Thought. I think we'll go for that now. Make the reticle shake less. I don't really mind that, to be honest. Increase the amount of influence recovered by right answers. Oh, I do like the sound of that though. But more time is always better, right? Okay. Yeah, let's go for Lost in Thought. Oh, where's 10? Oh, we found it. We can't even buy any of it. Oh no. We got room for more to put on, kind of thing. But we haven't bought any of it. And I don't want to buy any of these shitty little ones just for the sake of putting them on, you know? Attention. Sorry, we won't buy any more. Let's check out the handbook. We'll be okay this trial, I'm sure. Truth bullets. Welcome to File 3. Victim is Ultimate Artist Angie Yanaga. The victim's body was discovered in the Ultimate Artist Research Lab. The time of death is approximately 2 AM. Victim was killed by a fatal stab wound to the torso. Additionally, she has lacerations on her forehead. Second victim is the Ultimate Aikido Master, Tenko Chabashira. The victim's body was discovered in a vacant room on the 4th floor. The estimated time of death is 11 AM. The victim was stabbed in the back of her neck, resulting in death. No other injuries were detected. Stabbed to the back of her neck, like the titan she is. Considering the laceration, the injury on the victim's forehead was not bleeding as much as it should, in reference to Angie. Bloody duct tape. Bloody piece of duct tape stuck to her hair. The blood on it had already dried. Blood that was flowing from the back of Angie's neck created a pool. Necronomicon. A book Monokuma prepared some motive. Angie attempted to carry out the book's resurrection ritual. Necronomicon Resurrection Ritual. Prepare an effigy of the dead soul you wish to contact. And it's just going through all of the methods of how to do it. We'll get into that more as the trial goes on. Effigies hung upside down. The 4 wax effigies that were created for the resurrection ritual. They are exact replicas of the late Rantaro, Kaide, Ryoma, and Kirumi. They were hung upside down from the ceiling beams in the Ultimate Artist Lab. Art Lab's back door is the one with the sliding lock. When Angie's body was found, the sliding lock was locked from the inside. Handle of the sliding lock moves at the slightest touch. Something gold and shiny was on the handle. Ooh, okay. The front door is the one with the cylindrical lock that we could sort of pick lock and get in. Mandam swallowed the only key, so it can only be locked and unlocked from inside the lab. Before Angie's body was found, the door was locked, but Kokichi opened it by picking the lock. So that sort of goes against what it says by it only being able to be locked and unlocked from inside the lab, right? It can be unlocked from outside if you got the know-how. Kokichi's lockpicking. Kokichi can lock and unlock the front door of the Ultimate Artist Lab with his lockpicking skills. Yeah. Tsumugi's account. Angie had locked herself in the Ultimate Artist Lab since yesterday, working on the ritual. She would not unlock the door unless someone from the Student Council asked her to. The Student Council members were Gonta Kibo, Himiko, Tenko, Tsumugi. You know, Tsumugi, going through the game, was always the disappointing character for me. Ultimate Cosplayer could be so interesting. They could act as any fictional character, and she's just so plain. Like she says herself a lot, she's plain. She does get her moments now and again, but, you know. Gold Leaf Katana. It was stabbed into the hung Kaede effigy. Because the katana is so old, the handle's gold leaf rubs off easily. There was blood on the tip. It was taken from the Ultimate Anthropologist's lab, so only the sheath was left in the display case. Anyone could have entered the lab. Caged Child. This is the ritual that we tried to do as a seance. but sort of failed a little bit. We'll get into that more. It's too much to read for now. Kibo's flashlight function. Function that Mio had added to Kibo. You can emit a blinding light from his eyes. Tenko's last moments. Tenko died in a crouched position when she was doing the ritual. Injury on the back of her neck was deep. Probably not enough to kill her immediately. Okay. Mark of Stone is what Tenko had to put her forehead on during the ritual. Loose floorboard is right below Tenko, not loose before the seance. There's dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard. Iron cage is what Tenko was hidden underneath. There's the measurements. Shuichi and Kokichi placed this over Tenko and Himiko removed it. Tenko's blood was on the bottom of the cage. Okay, well she was killed, you know. There'd be a bit of blood somewhere. A hole in the corner. Hole that was in the corner of the room the seance was held in. There's space under the floor so you can see what was dropped there. A white sheet. This was placed over the iron cage. Thick, can't be seen through at all, so no transparency. There's blood on the back around the middle of the sheet, but there's no hole in the fabric, so it wasn't stabbed through. Kyo was the one who placed the sheet over the cage and removed it off the cage. Dog statue. This was placed on top of the cage. It weighs about 175 pounds, so carrying it on their own, probably not a thing. Shuichi, Kokichi, Kyo, and Himiko worked together to put it up and remove it from the cage. Magic circle Korokyo drew. Magic circle was drawn with the salt as part of the ritual kind of thing. It was trampled on after her body was found, and who was it? Was it Himiko? Yeah, Himiko went over and tried to see what was going on. Sound during seance. During the seance, there was a loud sound while it was completely dark. During the song. A small amount of blood that was on the ground under the floor of the room the seance was held in was quite far from where Tenko's blood was dripping. Crosspiece under the floor. One of the crosspieces that support the loose floorboard in the room the seance was held in. Only the portion that supports the floorboard was cut off. It wasn't broken naturally. It looked like someone had purposely cut it. Sickle under the floor. This is a weird one. What could this possibly be about? The weapon came from the Ultimate Assassin's lab. Blade was about 6 inches. Blood was still wet. And bloody Kokichi. While Kokichi was investigating the neighbouring room from where the seance was held, he had stepped through one of the floorboards. That room also had part of the crosspiece cut off, the portion that supported the floorboard. We seem to have a lot more hints for... Tenko. A lot more hints for Tenko than Angie's murder right now. So it's going to be difficult, I think. And like it says, by you, as it scrolls across at one point it says, are the two cases related? Was it the same killer? Was it, you know... It's an interesting one. Okay, let's get going.
Ahem! Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial. During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote for who done it. Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate from this academy. Also, refusing to vote will result in your death, so you better vote for someone. Now, smiles, everyone! It's showtime! Let's get this crazy awesome trial underway!
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time. Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman!
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko?
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be two killers.
So, our other culprit might not be one of us here.
Hmm? What do you mean?
The transfer student. Maybe our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Is it even possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up here.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates!
No!
So, ritual did work?
That's wrong!
I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual.
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution, be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times.
If Angie's ritual had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact.
Then, Gonta think Rantaro probably not culprit.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
Now hold on a second! I can't let that comment stand! Sure, everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy said so he can't be wrong. Raising the dead is totally possible.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive. You should have let me use it to bring Monodum back to life.
Monodum is still alive, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste a resurrection on Monodum's corpse.
Right now, you're on the threshold.
Oh? So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way it's possible!
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us. Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who? Who did it?
Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
What? Why?
Don't play dumb with me, Creepshow. I already know what happened. The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie! Oh yeah! I'm a fucking genius! The culprit used the katana to kill Angie, and it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you automatically suspicious. But anyone could have taken that katana, you see. So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing.
Kyo?
I did not care about
some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in.
That's wrong!
No, Kyo would not have been able to enter Angie's lab. Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
You can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Tsumugi, and Himiko.
Well, can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Obviously. Let's believe in them.
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Tsumugi, and Kibo.
Yep. The culprit is one of those 3 people.
You mean one of those 2 people? 'Cause a robot ain't people, Jack!
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
What else? The culprit should confess already. Gonta, Keyboy, or Tsumugi? Well...
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez.
Gonta
I'm not the culprit.
Not the culprit.
We must
Gonta
consider
is a
other
gentleman.
possibilities. Surely there must be suspects
Gentlemen,
outside the
not
student
betray
council.
student council.
That's utterly impossible.
A dead chick
Not just
can't be the
anyone can open
culprit!
that door.
Why?
Only student council members had access.
I heard it! No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Kokichi pulled out some thin needles and stuck them into the keyhole of the lock. Click, click, click. Clack. There, open sesame.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me, all along.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins. And it helped. I feel so much better. Whew!
Wait, so Kokichi really is culprit?
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Then let me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking it?
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
What different method?
Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
Okay, so the one that was locked last, because we saw it was locked from the inside. I think that's what they're getting at. The back door.
That's it! The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool.
The tool that culprit used to lock the sliding lock from outside was... Well, okay, mine. I'll tell you now. The answer is... the gold leaf katana, the one that was stuck into Kaede. Because there was gold on it. There was like bits of gold left on it. So pretty easy to tell. I don't know if the sheath is going to be the answer. If we need to find the actual katana. Let's keep looking around a little bit more. See what other options we got. Yeah, we got the actual katana by here by the looks of it. I know. We got loads of time anyway, it's fine. We can just break it open.
I see it! The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaede's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
So the gold leaf was in the sliding lock
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it. The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a school bell.
Huh? Are you talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the past.
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right? But wait, how did they move it with a katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area itself. It was an odd setup after all. The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
Different purpose? What could that have been? Culprit somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, I need to know the reason behind every step of that setup. If I do that, the way the culprit locked the room should be clear. There we go. Bit of psych taxi. Bit of Daytona. Okay. First thing we need to do then. Collect all the letters up. I'm hoping to get the Monokuma, Monokuma, whatever. This time. I'm pretty sure this one in every one of these mini games actually. Every one of the Psych Taxi mini games. Pretty sure. Okay, this one. Maybe it won't matter. Really won't, will it? Be fine. Come on, two more. There they are. What turned the handle of the lock? Well, we know from just now. There's the katana's hint. Yeah, the end of the katana. So, come on, think of time. I got this. Katana's hilt. Because it had the gold left on it. Good. Okay, let's keep going. How many this time? Next question. That looks like quite a lot to find, but might not be. Uh-oh. Really feel like I'm playing Mario Kart collecting these things. It does get a bit tedious, to be honest. It's alright. It's not right minigame. But, you know, a little bit repetitive, in my opinion. Oop. I don't think I noticed that before, even though it stands out so much. Like, in the middle of the bottom of the screen, it says phase 2 or 3. Like, it's telling how many questions there's going to be. I don't think I've actually ever noticed that before. I just keep going until it ends. Okay. What was done to make it turn? Yeah, stabbed into the effigy. We had no evidence of the lock being tampered with, I don't think. Next up, come on, last question. Oh, that looks like a lot. I love the look of this minigame though. It reminds me of what's it called, Project Rub? The weird DS game where they were like silhouette characters and you had to try and everyone was trying to date the same girl or something like that. You had to play minigames to get her affection. It was something like that. It was actually really good, even though it sounds really stupid. It's like one of those really funny Japanese games, and it was really fun. I don't think I played the sequel. How's the FG manipulated to make the katana affect the lock? Okay. So obviously the FG would have to turn so that it would push the lock. So spinning it. Here we go. Good. Yeah, okay.
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist. Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place? The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope, and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock. And thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana.
A plan born from the heart of a sword traveling through the air to intercept us. Oh, but could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
The sliding lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime, as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think it was some kind of ceremony. That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed. I don't want to completely ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Oh, man. You guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
You're telling the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. You get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
All right, So, who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
You. I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Cum dumpster! Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What should we talk about now?
We must focus not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. It's just a waste of time.
A suspect? Never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
Silence, outsider! Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down!
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect rangers. What should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting...
Why did Tenko have to die?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but... Can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
The 2 victims could have been killed by 2 separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. We've got to figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Would you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless! Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you! Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her? Himiko...
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give 2 shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why... I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. And now... it's too late. I can't complain to her or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously! It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head-on.
Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through. So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter!
Kaito! Alright. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is... Death Curse! I suppose being dead would silence someone pretty good.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run! I won't forgive something so messed up!
Tenko was our friend. Gonta wanna know why she died too!
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Okay, I think that's a good point to end the episode before we move on to Tenko's little bit of our investigation, I guess. So, this has been GreenyXI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit with the start of investigating Tenko's murder. In a bit, folks.
Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.